What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. I want to share about a way that God has directed my steps. I want to kind of zoom back and talk about one of the early day, young childhood. It wasn't necessarily supernaturally God, but anything that happens from 0 to 16 years old, like it certainly wasn't all me. Like God knew, but I didn't know in terms of the steps that I was taking in the direction of my life and how things from those years would be used in my life. And what I want to share about is actually my experience in Boy Scouts. I don't know if Boy Scouts will get a couple more shout outs throughout this year, but I actually did spend a lot of time in Boy Scouts growing up. And I mean, if it did get a second video, it would probably be about how God protected me, because I didn't have any negative or weird interactions that sometimes now Boy Scouts is primarily associated with, unfortunately. But a couple things that were, and so anyways, it was sometimes weekly, then sometimes every other week. I don't know always the rhythm, but these troop meetings, I started in second grade and went all the way through senior year of high school. Very involved all the way through sophomore year of high school, but still involved junior, senior year as well. So a long time to be involved, and I think that's one thing right off the bat that I really didn't fully appreciate or understand the impact of at the time, because there's just not anything else like that, at least that I knew of or that I had access to be involved in something for that long of a period of time. And what was cool is, so I became an Eagle Scout, and then I stayed involved because I achieved that young, and I stayed involved, and I ended up earning 4 Eagle Palms, which are awards that you can get after Eagle. Eagle is the highest rank you can be, but they're awards you can earn after Eagle Scout. So I get these 4 Eagle Palms, and after my 4th palm, the local Houston Chronicle newspaper did a front page story of me talking about how it was cool that I got 4 Eagle Palms. And it's just like the local, like one day a week, it's just for your zip code or something like that. So it wasn't like all of Houston saw this newspaper. But to be on the front page of a newspaper for something that I had just been doing, like I just kept showing up, like I didn't do anything amazing, I didn't save someone's life, I didn't survive in the wilderness for a week alone, like I just kept doing the things that you're supposed to do, and I just didn't quit. And for that to be on the cover of a newspaper, I literally told the reporter at the time that it felt like I was getting an award for doing chores. Like, it's not, which to me, I mean, these days maybe people would expect to get an award for just doing their chores, but what I meant by that is I didn't do anything special. I just kept doing what I'm expected to do. This was a responsibility that my parents had clearly communicated to me, to be involved in Scouts and to earn my Eagle Scout. Now, I went above and beyond what they expected, but all 4 of their kids were Eagle Scouts or Gold Star. So, it was a clear expectation. So I'm just like, look, I'm just a kid in my family, this is just what we do. And now I'm on the cover of the Chronicle, this is weird. And I think that's one way that God used Boy Scouts to shape me, is to just help me see that longevity matters, and that little things done with consistency and discipline over time can have an amazing impact and end up becoming amazing things. And that's something that I know intuitively now that enables me to endure, that enables me to keep making good choices, because I know that there's a compounding effect. Even the way that I view the time value of money and investing. Like I can internalize compound interest maybe a little bit more clearly because I saw it in Scouts. I saw the same little choices every week and camping once a month and going to merit badge fairs 2 or 3 or 4 times a year and other random scouting events and weekend stuff. Like I saw those little choices over a long period of time evolve into this multiplying effect where the recognition and the leadership that I held just was way beyond what I felt deserving of or I felt like I had earned. And so, man, compound interest, huge, guys, huge. A couple other things. So I mentioned I got Eagle when I was young, and the main reason is because I was young for my troop. Most of y'all know I'm a year young for my grade, but in my Boy Scout troop, there weren't any other guys in my grade in the troop. They were all a year or two grades older than me, meaning they were all 2 or 3 or more years older than me. And I had to catch up, like I'm not just gonna be left behind, like these are the guys that I have to be friends with, that I have to interact with, that I have to gain respect from, and they're all older than me significantly, or at least felt significant at that age. And that learning experience was helpful for me because of course that overlapped into just my normal life. But continually there are ways that I'm leading people that are older than me, and Boy Scouts was really other than just being 1 year young in school, Boy Scouts was the next example I have of being even more than just 1 year young and still learning how to adapt socially and stuff. And in terms of leadership positions, probably the first ever leadership titles I had were in Scouts. Like I think patrol leader maybe in 6th grade was the first title I ever had, which at the time I didn't even think, oh, that's leadership, like our patrol was 5 guys. So I'm like, surely I can win this thing, And I didn't really win fair and square, but that's a story for another day. But regardless, leadership, opportunities that of course God has, since spoken to me so much about leadership. But Boy Scouts was really one of the first settings that I got to do that. Also, when we camped once a month, we had to cook our meals, and I was not required to cook at home. So, my comfort level in cooking, once I started cooking meals as an adult, was aided by the fact that we had to pick our meals and go to the grocery store and buy the groceries and meal prep and cook the food on, propane stoves or over the fire. And I'm thankful for that. Thankful for those experiences of cooking. I'm also thankful that I know how to start a fire pretty good at making a fire. That was by far my favorite part of Boy Scouts. I'm thankful for that skill. It's not really super important probably for my life, but it has come in handy for sure. Also, some of the most memorable experiences growing up really were from Boy Scouts, which sounds so lame, right? But like the first time I got to sit in lecture halls on a college campus were for Boy Scout fairs, learning about whatever, personal finance or art or citizenship in the world or different there's sculpture, just also, all those little merit badges, little circle things on the sash. There's classes you gotta take and things you gotta do, and so you get exposed to so much, you learn so much, but then also the adventures. I went on a week-long backpacking trip that that was awesome. like we packed our food and went. I couldn't have done that outside of that. I also got to camp in Colorado for a week, 2 different times. Sorry, Colorado. Texans, we call it Colorado, but it's not. It's not pronounced Rado. It's pronounced Rado. Rado, dudes. So, and I could tell just tons of specific stories and that were hilarious, lock-ins and just fun, and being outside was fun. Chopping wood was fun, playing capture the flag in the dark was fun. Trying to find hidden treasures in rocks was fun. This is classic Jeremy, guys. Literally, I would go, let's go up this mountain or this little hill, and then I would try to find geodes. I'm trying to find a rock with gems inside so that I can sell it for so much money. I'm this is what I'm thinking about as a 6th or 7th grader. So I'd go find rocks that looked like they were a tiny bit sparkly, and I would just start smashing them on other rocks to try to get it to break open to show me this glorious rock inside. And I did not succeed. But here we are. We're living to see another day, boys and gals. And I could probably keep going on, but just thankful for the experiences, the memories. When I think about memories from childhood, a lot of the ones that stand out the most or that are the most memorable were from Boy Scouts, even though my emotional effort into Boy Scouts on a day-to-day basis was low. I spent much more time thinking about school, friends, sports, TV. For sure, spent way more time on those 4 things than Boy Scouts. But just the little consistencies in the once a month, or some months we couldn't make it, but it really was a lot of camping for sure. And those get out of your space, get out of your world, just the power of retreat. So cool. And I did things that I wouldn't do at home, because at home I would just watch TV, but now we're in the woods for 2 days. You know what I'm gonna do? Maybe I'll write a poem. I wrote some songs, guys, as a middle school child boy. I'm let's write some songs. Never to be shared. Okay? They're burned up. They're all gone. They're all gone. You think Taylor Swift is lovesick? You should have heard what Chef J Train was cooking up in his tent. Those were some sad songs. Oh man. But cool, right? Just applying myself, doing something, activating instead of just vegging out, which is what I did when I was home. And so, just thankful for the ways that God has directed my steps, that He used something that was so normal in my life, something I didn't think about, something I was literally required to do, and used it to pay dividends in a lot of ways into my adulthood. One other small example is the Eagle Project. 200 hours spent on this landscaping project and coordinating with a professional landscaper and buying this stuff and coordinating volunteer labor and that's just kind of a bigger deal than watching TV. Literally that's what I did, guys, when I was home. So just cool to so many things I learned through that and the next time I take on a project, it's so much less intimidating because I have this frame of reference from this time when I did something, but it was insulated, it was protected. Some of the stuff was kind of done for me-ish, but not really done for me, but I had help. It was a safe space to learn and to try to lead out on a project and without it all being up to me no matter what type of thing. So anyways, don't sleep on Boy Scouts. Who knows if we put our boys in? Probably unlikely that my kids do Boy Scouts. But perhaps after this video, I'll think about it a little harder. Because ultimately, God used it in a lot of ways to shape me, and I'm thankful. So, maybe not the most interesting video for y'all to listen to. My apologies. Ghost Rose. That's all I got for y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Life is worship. God is love.